All right, what's up? Once again, we've changed up the setup. Here we are.
Got a guest?
Got a guest, Mr. Arnie Sandhu.
Sandhu.
Sandhu in the house. I anglicized his name again. Look at
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
Fuck, man. The white man always wins. They always win. Not no more.
Yeah, he came and
all right, so
kicked me out of my spot, so I took the therapist chair. We're gonna dig into your brain a little bit too.
yeah.
Sounds good.
So thanks for coming on. Thanks for the link up with the J&J Entertainment guys, man. This is dope. We're going to get popping right off the bat. So Arnie, we've known each other for a little while now and thought it's time for you in the middle of this evolution that you're in.
Yeah.
Kind of get you on and see where your headspace is at. But first of all, tell us, like, why comedy, man? Like, you know, you first started with comedy, but I know you're kind of shifting away from that and really going into your own as an artist. But what got you into comedy?
I think at the time when I started making videos, I was watching a lot of comedy, and majority of the people that I was obviously looking up to at the time were comedians,
Right.
like Foya Entertainment and Just Rain, obviously.
Yeah.
So I just saw this one path, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna emulate this path a little bit. I'm gonna mimic it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I was a funny guy, so I kind of just played off of that. And then eventually it was kind of like, damn, I don't even know if I want to do this for the long run, right?
Right.
So I had to start asking myself questions and kind of change the way a little bit. I still love comedy. I still be making everything.
No,
funny,
yeah,
you know?
were. That's
Yeah,
where.
yeah. Even when we're hanging out, right?
yeah,
We tell
definitely.
jokes all the time.
You can tell it comes like naturally.
Exactly.
To you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was always I would say I was the class clown, you know, and try to capitalize on that. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I want to go far, all the way with
And what does that even look like, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Now, from the moment you started, you know, the comedy stuff, you started. Yeah, I understand you were recording videos in high school and you were creating content. You're a natural content guy. It
Yeah.
seems like it comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
From that starting point to when you figured out, you know what, man, I'm kind of getting away from who I am or whatever the process was for you to kind of be like, okay, you know, comedy isn't just for me anymore. I'm bigger than that. I'm more than that.
Yeah.
How long was that process? And what would you know? What was the early signs of that?
So I would actually make videos and not post them. You know what I'm saying? So you'd go through all the workflow
Crazy.
of finishing a video and then watching it back. And I'm not impressed with my own work at this point, right?
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I'm just not gonna post this. I remember posting a video and I took it off 30 minutes later because I was like, man, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? I felt like these characters and stuff that I created, dressing up as the mom and the dad, it's been done so many times.
Right.
So I kind of felt unoriginal at one point, you know? I felt like I hit. Obviously, I could have taken it all the way, but I hit a cap in myself, and I was like, "Yo, I just don't wanna do anything that I feel like is unoriginal, and I don't want to do anything where I'm not wholeheartedly wanting to do it anymore." You know what I'm saying?
Other than the, so you mentioned the Just Rain and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Was there other forms of comedy? Was there any stand-up comedy that you were into growing up? Were you in, ever listen to Eddie Murphy or anything like that and said, hey, you know what? Maybe that is, or was it just these videos was the main thing?
Yeah,
Did you ever think of doing a bit in stand-up comedy?
So that's the thing. I never did because I never used to watch stand-up. Even when I watch it now, it's it's whatever, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was never a big fan of Russell Peters, and even I don't know. I would just watch stand-up, and I'd be like, "This is just."
It's not your form of comedy, sounds like, right?
I'd love to do it one day just to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not. It's just not something that I was too amazed by, right? Not. I got a lot of respect for them that hop on stage and do it, but it was just not my thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Are you ever happy with the final product of your content?
Yeah. There are a lot of times I'm happy with it as well, right? It happens actually after, you know?
Right.
I think it's a creativity thing.
Right.
When you're watching it back later, after it's been released to the world, you're like, damn, this was actually really wild. How did I even come up with this, right?
Yeah.
In the moment, I think as a creative, it's kind of hard to.
I think the same is true when you're consuming content too. Because remember we were driving to our track session once, and I said in passing I wasn't really happy with J. Cole's Sideline Story.
Yeah.
And that for some reason I don't know if that was really an authentic answer because it stuck with me and I thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
So ran that album back, and now I consume albums when I run because I can't do anything for that hour, and I got to really take it in. And the album was fire. But I had to step back 6 years after the fact, consume it again. I think the same is true maybe on the content creator, but on the content consumer too, because shit grows on you. Art grows over time. When Kanye dropped 808s and Heartbreaks, went over everybody's head. Everyone's like, this shit's a failure. Now Heartless comes on, and goddamn, if you don't have a tear in your eye every time you hear that song, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So some stuff like wine, it just ages with time, right? And I think
100%.
that kind of leads me to what I'm saying next is I never see you going for the lowest hanging fruit which is like being controversial and going out of your way to call people out, and how some people do out east, like they're really like going at people's throats, and that's easy for clickbait and getting likes, getting follows. But you have this, how do I put this? You have this flavor, the Arnie flavor, and you stay true to it. Yeah. Is that something that you curated? As in, like, this is who I am, this is my identity, or you just existing and this is who you are?
I think it happens over time too, right? Like, obviously, in the beginning, I was trying out a lot of different things, and just every time I tried to do anything controversial, it just wouldn't sit right with me, right?
Right.
Which would be like, what am I kind of doing out here, right? And even like some of the people that I look up to, they just maintain who they are. And right now, like, I have like a set like group of people that I really do look up to, whether they're YouTubers or artists or whatever, and they do their own thing. They're unfazed by the rest of the world. And that's sometimes like the best way to actually leave a legacy,
right?
And to always just be jumping around everywhere, right? You don't want to be looked at as a guy who's always just been
one trick pony, right?
One trick pony, and just been like waiting for other people's downfall and stuff. You rather be that guy who's like trying to bring everyone else up and just did his own thing so well. He was so unfazed by the rest of the world. That's like a true artist and creative in my eyes, right? Someone that just does their own thing and doesn't really rely on anyone else.
Yeah.
So I just felt like that's where I was most at ease, and that's where I felt most at home with how I did everything. So I just ran it with that, right?
That's crazy. You ever get insecure?
I think everyone gets insecure, you know? It's like a constant battle.
I never see it on you. That's why I asked that. You're like...
No, everyone gets insecure. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. That's like a common... Like, that's something I'd love to talk about later in my, like, you know, creative journey. But yeah, everyone gets insecure. It's just a constant battle till the day you die, maybe.
So you're sitting there hitting the upload and you're still like, oh, fuck, I don't know if I'm confident in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or is it like...
Yeah, I've grown. There's this art, you know, there's this art of like letting go.
Right.
I think Rick Rubin, there's this quote where he's like, you gotta let it go, you know what I'm saying? And
for the ethos, for everyone to just consume, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's dope.
So in one of your, like, you were talking just previously here about these roles in some of your videos, and you talked about it in one of your other videos, talking about the role of Gary.
Yeah.
And how people just wanted that from you, or they started to associate that with you. Was that actually happening in terms of when you were going out into the public and things like that? What was it like, kind of going out and going to parties and and then they start addressing you as Gary, or they want like jokes on the spot or something, or they
what's that like?
Yo, that's
you're
actually
gonna do some sort of like thing, and then at a certain point you're like, what the fuck, am I some sort of clown? Show up and
funny, like how
I'm here to entertain you.
That's actually those were one of the eye openers, right? So I remember like I was at Cabana with one of my buddies and all these like students, and like just mad people like, yo, mess with your shit, tell me a joke right now. I'm like, what do you mean tell me a joke right now? You know what I mean? I'm not no stand-up guy. And even like I felt like when people knew I made music, like, yo, spit some raps right now. I'm like, dude.
It's like, what are you, a circus act? Like,
exactly. Yeah, and that's when I was like, okay, I got to redesign how I kind of do things as well too, a little bit, right? I want people to see the full like product, and that's just how I roll, right? I love like putting on a whole thing, as you guys have probably seen, right?
Definitely
creating a little bit of a universe and stuff, then to just start like doing things like in person like that. And that's when I was like, dude, I got to start doing something like a little bit bigger, you know what I'm saying? And this was before I even introduced Gary like heavily and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, even the Gary stuff, I knew it was going to be like short-lived, but I felt like people wanted it stretched out.
Yeah.
Like, we need more. How much can I truly...
Before it plays itself out.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. And these were just little realizations along the path, and now it's like, okay, how do we transition to something just something bigger, you know? Something that is more fulfilling for at least myself, right?
Ben told me a story one time about... the actor who plays Sonny Corleone in Godfather. Yeah. So in the movie, you know, he's a gangster and so forth. But Ben was saying he was in a bar in New York, and, you know, something happened, and like a fight was about to break out, and these guys got super scared. Like, oh, Sonny, no.
They were talking to him like he's the movie character, the badass, ass kicker. And you kind of, it sounds like you're very cognizant of the characters you create, so you don't become your characters. Yeah. That happens a lot. We see it all the time.
So did that ever happen with you? Did you ever start becoming a bit of Gary?
Were you talking like a Jack Moore and stuff?
Like without even knowing it? Like you just, like you stay in character, you didn't know? You're wait a minute, what the hell?
Maybe. I think, I did start wearing the North Face a lot more. And even when it wasn't that cold outside, because it was always on deck. But yeah, not too much. I think I was pretty like, I was pretty detached at the same time. I knew I was just playing a character, and that's something that tripped out people too. So when they met me, they got this like very introverted kind of dude, and they
but did the real Garys ever give you any heat? Because there's a certain archetype you create in that character, and we all know it exists out there. So
I've gotten both. It's weird. So like, there's been people who've been like, "Yo, that shit's sick, yo," and I'm like, "Damn!" Like I'm literally making kind of like, I'm like playing you. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm like, damn, this is wild. But like, this is a glitch in the matrix right now. And then there's also people that are on some like, yo, you're fucking, you think you're jokes, you're fucking doing shit, right?
Yeah. Did you ever feel that though, that you were that people were no longer laughing with you? They were almost laughing at our people. Like, did that ever come across to you? Where it's like, like you're making this like comedic universe. But like, did that ever not sit well with you?
No, 100% all the time.
Yeah.
Right? I think I'm pretty conscious of all that kind of stuff. And that's what I mean, right? The bigger picture was never to just get like famous and stuff, right? It was always to somewhat take this quote unquote clout and fame or whatever and turn it into something really beautiful, right? Because eventually you want to touch on the things that's never been touched on and create the things that have never been created. But sadly, people are just so attached to like what's already been made, and they just love seeing that over and over again, right? So sometimes you got to run it. Yeah. And I'm kind of like, like I said, I'm kind of over that stuff now. I feel like, at this point, I'd rather just push some of the newer, what I really want to see out there.
I'm seeing a parallel here, like, like your art's evolving, your art's changing, you're starting to now get into the originality that you want to kind of fill in, but also in your personal life, you're evolving, you're growing, you've obviously gone through some crazy changes. I mean, 2020 was crazy for everybody, right? But for you especially, like you went through some controversy, for lack of a better matter, like people just weren't letting you live your life. Has that, what you've gone through, bled into the art and bled into what you're creating, what we can expect next from you? And
definitely, yeah. I think whenever you go through an experience like that, it is you either you shut down or you take some sort of like take something out of it and create some things, right? So I feel like everything that kind of happened in that period, I hope we'll be able to, like, people will always, they're gonna see it now. It's gonna be like little jabs and little things everywhere, right? And it's gonna be from those from that place, right? Because I just never knew that it was gonna be that big of a thing, and also I just this was my first time properly like becoming like public enemy #1.
That's sick.
So I was like, damn, like I think I can definitely draw some inspiration.
When you read those comments, or you read some of the things about your people comment on, like, do you read like, oh man, does it really ruin your day? Does it really get at you? Or are you at the point now where those comments have been going and you just don't really pay it? Because I always wonder that. Yeah. I wonder
you get pretty immune to it eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like the first week of when that happened, I was like, oh man, I was like, this is hectic, right? I'm not gonna lie. I was like, not panicking, I was like sweating. I was like, shit, what are we gonna do, right? But now I feel like after this is all said and done, I really feel like anything can happen. I'm just gonna be chilling out, because I'm like, damn, well, this isn't that bad. You know what I mean? And I think it's just natural. Like, this is how the world just reacts to anything, right? So that's just.
You find healing in kind of creating your art, like sounds like this shit bothered you for a minute, and now not so much. You said you're immune to it. Did you build your immunity creating?
Definitely, yeah. I think that's what creatives do, right? Artists and stuff in general. Even like when we work out and stuff, we are just transmuting that energy and making it into something else, right? Making muscles. Yeah, muscles, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that immunity does come, and like I think creativity offers a healing, and that's one thing that even my previous videos did. Like even the most like subliminal ones, like the one where like my dad came in and dropped off the little like David cassette. It's just experiences that clearly bothered me enough for me to make a whole video about it, and a lot of people related to it, right? So
that's what I feel like a lot of your stuff is. It speaks to a generation. Everyone's been through that type of stuff and like had situations similar to yours, and it feels like, I mean, at least for me, the comedy kind of makes it feel like, all right, I'm not alone, and my parents being on my case for something stupid and shit they just don't get, right? That's kind of really dope.
For your evolution that you're going through here, so you had a turban most of your life, and you cut your hair. When you cut your hair and you're transitioning into, are you feeling like you're having to create a new Arnie? Like, did you lose a piece of yourself at all when you lost that identity?
I'm trying to phrase this.
Because the way I'm thinking about it is like, because I've never had a batka, right? Yeah. And sometimes people get attached to that how they look and so forth. And so when that's no longer the case, I'm curious as to, does that affect your psyche?
I think me grasping onto an identity that no longer serves me is more of me losing myself. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what was starting to happen?
Yeah, I would say that was what was kind of starting to happen. I'm not going to lie. I just saw I wasn't, like I said in my video that I posted on Instagram, I wasn't the same person, and I had to come to terms with that, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It just means I'm on a different path right now. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna hop back on many different paths, right? But if I continue on like this like other path while pretending to be someone else online, not only am I losing myself, but I'm just you know, I'm being a fake.
Yeah,
almost,
and
right?
people are gonna see that. You're not gonna be able to honor your art.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'd rather go out there and be like the real me that I am right now. And then whatever happens later, right? I might come back to it. And even if I come back to it, there's always going to be people being like, oh, now he's being fake.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever you do that's authentic to you is going to be fake for someone else, right?
Like,
but who can ever tell me who I am?
No, that's the thing, right?
I can't tell you who you are.
No.
Most of the people in this room probably don't know who you are. You know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can't lie to ourselves.
Most definitely. Did you find like diving deeper into Sikhi kind of made you realize like you have a supreme respect for Sikhi
100%.
and you understand it on a level that I don't really see a lot of people understand it on, and that's what helped you make your decision and stuff like that. 'Cause you didn't want to disrespect the Qawm, right?
I would say the Sarup more.
The Sarup?
Yeah. The Qawm has nothing to do with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a bigger purpose that they're already.
Let's dive into that. So I'm very outside looking in with this. What's the difference between the Sarup and the Qawm?
I think the Sarup is like just us upholding like the Sikh.
The physical features.
Yeah, the physical features. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know when people get kind of called out for like doing things that aren't you know, you always see it like, yo, why don't you go Munna if you want to do this and stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do your thing, live your life. That's the stage that you're in, type thing. You know
Normalize being yourself.
Exactly, yeah. And I think any religion and any sect of people, right? If you're wearing their vardi, right? If you're wearing their thing, they have the right to get mad if you're not upholding it to
Fair.
what I guess the general stance of it is, right? Obviously, it means different things to everyone, right? Like I could tie a turban today and just like be Aladdin or something.
Because isn't this all like our interpretation of Sikhi? We're not there in the 1600s kind of observing and seeing what it's really like. We could have it all wrong. All the people that are actually up on the highest podium of Sikhi could have it all wrong. That's how I see it. I mean, I did, for myself, my introduction to Sikhi was that we had a Marji Swati in my house, but my dad was an alcoholic. So all this time, I saw an abusive alcoholic man in front of a Marji Swati, literally outside the door of it. So I had a really interesting relationship with Sikhi and not understanding it. And I also did 7 years of Khalsa school, and that didn't make sense to me because I was coming home to one thing or whatever. So I have this very skewed image of what Sikhi is in terms of today's, you know, I understand history, but like in terms of what we're practicing today, I feel like we've lost a lot of, you know, there's some true people that we know that are practicing it in an honorable way, you can say. Yeah. But isn't it most of it an interpretation?
100%, yeah. But like I said, you know, when there is like a large group attached to it, right? Then it just becomes a little bit messy. But I do think Sikhi is an individual journey at the end of the day. And I think majority of people that are truly like diving into that, they're not really on social media and just like out there like that, to be honest. They're really diving in. At least the people that I know, and most of their Sikhi, they're just doing it on their own time because it is. At the end of the day, it is spiritual, right? As much as we want to flaunt it and stuff.
It's a private manner.
And it's like, because me and Jazz have had these conversations too. Like, he's really into pot, right? Way more than I've ever been into pot, which is crazy, right? So, what that does for him might not have done for me, right?
Exactly.
So how can I ever I can't like come at you and be like, yo, stop doing pot, bro. You don't have you don't have your hair.
No,
right?
no, I agree. Because my take on that is that like how you talked about the Sarup. Well, I, as a Sikh, although, you know, I can get through the Panjabani Path every morning, don't do all 7, and there's pieces, there's, you know, I don't eat meat and whatever else, but I feel like Sikhi is a personal journey where you're getting to, you know, it's enlightenment eventually is what you're trying to get to, and it's a private manner. So I feel like that Maryada, so the code of conduct that, you know, that we want to live by, there's a lot of work that we have to do and that you could do in private on your own. And then I personally feel that if I feel like I've gotten to that level of, hey, now I'm really representing the, like how you're talking about, like, you know, a big group of people and so forth. Once I'm representing it the way that I feel the gurus wanted us to represent it, then I'm ready for the next step.
And this is what I mean by like the calm and the sarup, because for I know a lot of people where it is an individual journey, right? And it means something completely different. And then there's also people that are like, we need to push the religion forward.
Clout demons.
It's not even clout demons, but it's like, yo, how do we like make it so more people want to join? And both of them are beautiful in their own manner, right? I don't think I could have ever like, I was just not at that stage in my journey or my life to be out here telling who and what to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to like really figure it all out myself.
Right.
Maybe later in my life when I feel like I've had enough experiences and I've dabbled into enough things, I can make a conscious decision to tell you, yo, like this, you know? I can't be out here just forcing you to do something that I'm still in the process of figuring out.
Right.
That type
So, I
of
mean, it's a lot of pressure to have for someone
Yeah.
as young as yourself to kind of like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Interesting.
How is it dealing with your parents?
Parents were chill. I think moms are always attached, right?
Yeah,
Because they've done
yeah.
the little duty their whole life,
Yeah.
right? So my mom was just very attached, right?
Yeah.
She was just on some like,
That's
she's
crazy.
like, Jake Tahana. And then it took a week and she was Gucci, which was, it was very hectic before,
That's
right?
wild.
And she was just like, whatever.
I cut my hair in grade 7 and I went to my mom took us to Happy Haircut, and while we were there, I sat down and the guy started to cut my hair. Like, it was the first time I had a full on juda. My hair was below my knees, big time, right? And my mom's standing behind us, and Barbara's watching my face. I'm looking at my mom, and she's starting to cry. And I'm sitting there, and you could tell as a young man, I'm kind of confused. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, what? Bro, whatever, right? And the barber, without me even saying a word, was like, who do you think took care of your hair? She's like, it's not your hair I'm cutting right now. It's the person that took care of it your whole life. That's why she's crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, bro, like this is a lot bigger. But even then, like I was so confused because I had left Khalsa school, now in a public school, went from being called Binepal to now being called Ben. And I went through and I didn't have any way of kind of like understanding what my feelings are. I mean, and I feel
You
like
got a very little sense of self at that point. You're so young.
that's it, right? But if like for what your video did to even for me, just putting out that like understanding of the Sarup and how much you respect it, made me understand my feelings and kind of heal that kid for me, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that's doing that for someone else that's kind of understanding and getting to that crossroads too. And I feel like that's what your art is, right?
No, facts. I got a lot of messages, you know, from both ends, obviously. There was people who were like, damn, I hope you get back on the path. There's people like, damn, I left the path recently. I'm thinking about leaving the path. And then obviously the people that are like, you should go kill yourself. Whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's always
and
those
I think
hurt
even
souls.
someone watching this video, there's going to be those people that are going to be like, damn, look at this, man, disrespecting. But it's like, no, we're not. We're just talking our truth, right?
Yeah.
Because life is all about ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'd rather just say it how it is than to beat around the bush all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like human nature is all about teams as well, right?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, there's always going to be a team A, team B, and someone's always going to hate team A, someone's always going to hate team B. It's almost human nature. You
Yeah.
expect that,
Yeah.
right? But it's dope that it's not like getting to you. You're still so fucking true to your path, and it's inspiring your art. You're going even harder in it.
100%.
So dope.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
We coexist, man. We need the one end of the thing to coexist.
Yeah, man,
You
straight
know
up.
what I'm saying?
What do you think's
And
on
it's
your
mine.
path? Like where you got your focus and
Yeah, where's your energy going right now?
man.
Obviously, a lot into
Bench press, I see.
the physical, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I started running with you guys,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's been really sick because I almost feel like I'm transcending through this running stuff, you know?
Straight up, man.
And I'm really just trying to hone in on everything, like mental, spiritual, and my physical to make sure that to kind of like practice longevity, pretty
Right.
much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm healthy and stuff, and the creativity is just gonna get better and better
Straight
as
up.
this kind of aspect of my life gets better and better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just hope you're not going all like this. The pain is what's gonna inspire you, right?
Exactly.
And you gotta not welcome it, but understand it's gonna come. How old are you now?
Exactly. 23.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So 25 for us was when our mental health really started. We started going through it hard, and we were in the middle of running a business and stuff. And shit got real after 25, right?
Yeah.
So I understand that you see that coming, and
Yeah.
you're putting all the right ducks in order. And what makes me happy is because there's a lot of eyes watching you, a lot of young
Yeah.
guys that are looking at you, and through your healing and your process, you're giving them a process which they don't really
Exactly.
understand, man.
Yeah.
And we gotta actually give you your flowers for that, man,
Yeah.
because I mean you're really saving a generation. I call you two things. I call you the leader of the new school and the mayor of Surrey because like you're a voice of a
Okay.
generation, man, and
Yeah.
I think we gotta definitely give it to you on
Do
that.
you ever feel pressure, like especially when young guys sitting there calling you the mayor of Surrey, and so forth? Do you ever feel pressure? Have you ever felt pressure? Like you go and you're like, oh man, that last video got a great response, and you're like, you know, the vibe is great and so forth. Now you're creating the work for the next one. Does it impact the creative process? Because what I'm wondering is, Dr. Dre puts out the Chronic,
Yeah.
and while doing it, he thinks this is the best thing he's ever made.
Yeah.
And after it gets the response it gets,
Yeah.
and now he's doing his next album.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't have a bad album now.
Yeah.
So now going on to your next journey, do you feel like there's that pressure? You know, we saw all these great videos before. It's like now you gotta really hammer it out of the park, or no?
Yeah. I don't know. You guys are probably familiar with Gary Vee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So his whole thing is like, so you should just like go and disappoint everyone right off the bat. So then when people like when you go
drop some hot shit,
right? They go crazy. So I've never really any of the videos that have blown up or anything that has done anything. I was just kind of practicing. You know what I'm saying? I was just warming up. So that's why I try not. There's no pressure because I don't think I've created my best work yet. You know what I'm saying? We're still just getting better and better. I've seen like my even my friends and stuff just keep getting better and better. Right. And then there's gonna be that one day when someone's gonna see something magnificent from us, and they're gonna be like, "Damn, where did this come from?" And it was because everything else before that was practice.
The goal is to stay in your potential, not over exceed your potential. Right?
Exactly.
And you mentioned you feel like you're transcending with running.
Yeah.
A little bit more on that.
Basically,
what do you mean, man?
Basically,
like, so are you gonna be running and then picture and your kapde are just gonna fall?
No, it's just gonna explain
off
it.
into the universe. You
I'll
go,
explain it. So
we gotta answer some phone calls.
Basically, when you run hard enough, you get this thing called runner's high. Is it serotonin or endorphins? Right? Endorphins. Yeah. So even when I'm running with you guys, man, I see that look in Jazz's eye. He's just like, he's floating at that point. He's not even running, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm transcending it. When you hit that peak, that runner's high, you get this crazy clarity. You know what I'm saying? It's better than any clarity ever. There's
these specific type of Buddhist monks.
Yeah.
And they live in this area called Mount Hainai. And they're called the Marathon Monks of Mount Hainai. Yeah. So a part of their samadhi is they're running while they're doing so they literally run like a marathon a day as they're meditating.
That's wild.
But don't you feel like when you're running, you feel like you get to that, everything just quiets down?
100%.
So you're completely right about that. That's why I was wondering. I was like, oh man, do you read the book or tasting the Kool-Aid? It looks like saw the white light one day.
No, I think fitness and all this kind of stuff, it's like a beautiful medley, you know what I mean?
Right.
Meditation and all this kind of stuff.
Definitely.
It all just helps in seeing everything just that much more clear.
Does it improve your creativity?
Definitely,
have you ever gone home after running and been like, man?
Definitely. I get my best ideas there. I also make something, and then if I'm like, say it's a song or it's whatever it may be, I watch it while running.
Sick.
Or after a run.
Yeah.
And you're like, when you have that clarity and you see it for what it actually is.
Yeah. I've been there many, many, many times.
Yeah. What kind of music are you into these days? Like, what are you listening to that kind of inspires you?
A lot of different things, to be honest. You know what I mean? Tame Impala. I like rap and everything, to be honest. You know, a lot of soundtracks from movies. Yeah. That's the best thing.
You put me on that Bunsen burner.
I played that on god damn, yeah.
I hit that on like kilometer 7 of my 15K.
Listen to that while taking a cold shower. I swear, it's wild.
All right.
But yeah, soundtracks. I watch a lot of movies, so I just take music from there, put it into my playlist. You know?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Umber?
I think it was pretty good.
That's pretty good. I think we'll wrap it on that. Thank you for your time.
Sounds
I'm sure this is the first of many as your journey goes on, my friend.
Let's get it.
And appreciate you, my dude.
Thankful for you guys having me on the show and
absolutely,
continue.
Thank you for hold on, before we cut any of this, I gotta give my brother his flowers. Our shit has changed to the upteenth degree because of Arnie. I gotta give him that. He saw our stuff and he told us what video angles, told us our mics, hooking us up with the homies. You're not just about yourself, man, and there's something really special about that. And
like I said, these are all just practice runs.
One
day there's gonna be like a crazy, you know what I'm saying? Quality's gonna be next level.
Let's do it.
97 Rockefeller, baby.
Let's do it, man.
That's it.
Peace and love, guys.
Bless.